Good evening. So it's 2008, and I am in rural South Africa, in a place called Tugela Ferry, 2.5 hours outside of Durban, the nearest city. It's a breathtakingly beautiful landscape, striking mountains, beautiful valleys, lush green, just reflective of the amazing place that is South Africa and its people. We are in a very humble one-room abode that we've just crossed a small river to get to. I'm part of a medical team here to visit Kaya, a 52-year-old lady living with HIV. We are here to personally deliver Kaya's HIV medications to her and to deliver a food packet to her family. Kaya is too weak to walk the many miles that would be needed to get to our HIV clinic, hence the reason that we've come to her. Kaya also struggles to find the food and other critical resources to support her 7 children, existing on a government child grant subvention of just US $40 a month to support a family of 9. Kaya's tired of taking all these medications, but she reflects on a sister who just died 3 weeks ago from HIV-related complications. It's heart-wrenching to see as Kaya breaks down into tears, expressing worry about what would happen to her children if she were to die. It's because of persons like Kaya in South Africa, in Mali, in Trinidad, in La República Dominicana, and here in the US that I felt called to work on HIV. As a physician, I try to support and treat persons living with HIV. And as a scientist, I try to understand how does biological stress caused by HIV collide with life stress to precipitate increased hospitalization, disability, and death. To understand the mechanisms to interrupt these pathways, ultimately, with the goal of ensuring that people like Kaya can live long, live well, with full opportunities to enjoy their families and loved ones, which should be a basic human right. My path would not have been possible without the Leadership Alliance. I was born in Trinidad and Tobago, a country in the Caribbean, my ancestors having been brought there in the transatlantic slave trade from a region that we now know as Ghana. I came to Morehouse College, an institution where the expectations for the pursuit of social justice and human rights were high, being the institutional home of such torchbearers in this domain as Martin Luther King Jr. and Spike Lee. Coming to Morehouse, my frame was that science equal to medicine, but I would soon be opened up to the great appreciation that scientific inquiry and scientific research was a huge social good with tremendous historical impact for improving the lives and the human social condition for all. It's because of the encouragement and frankly the prodding and the pushing of exceptional mentors at Morehouse that the doors to the Leadership Alliance were actually open to me. I came to the Leadership Alliance after my freshman year to work at Brown University under the research mentorship of Dr. Sharon Rounds. Before coming to the Alliance, I had not considered pursuing research as part of my life path, and I definitely had not considered pursuing a PhD. So as I reflected on what I was going to share with you tonight, I actually came across a document written by me 24 years ago in real time when I was a student in the Leadership Alliance, reflecting on my Leadership Alliance experience. And I know what you're saying. There are 2 things you're probably saying. The first is, there's no way you could have been in the Leadership Alliance 24 years ago. I was 10. The second thing is, why do you have this document? I think my partner feels the same way. Why are you keeping all these things in our house? But I'd like to share a few things that I actually jotted down back then. So I wrote that I was really scared about what I was going to experience when I got into the Leadership Alliance program. But that fear dissipated somewhat as the summer progressed. I hope that you all feel that fear has dissipated for you all as well, now that we're at the end. I also wrote that it was clear that the research project was obviously chosen to match somebody with my background, namely having no idea what to do in a research lab. But my self-confidence increased as well as time passed. The other reflection I noted was that the most important part of my experience was the people. People who so selflessly were invested in my future and were so committed to ensuring support for me in so many ways. I did note that I felt overwhelmed thinking about what my future path might bring, but knowing that I had people such as in the Alliance backing me, I felt that I could keep marching on. Fast forward 24 years, and what I wrote back then completely rings true today. I would not be who I am, and I would not be where I am in my life journey were it not for the Leadership Alliance. So I'm going to ask you to indulge me. If you could look to your right, well, your right is that way. And if you could look to your left. So why did I ask you to do that? So 24 years ago, I sat where you sat at the Leadership Alliance National Symposium held that year in Washington, D.C. at the National Academies. And yeah, while I was definitely inspired by my research mentor, and yeah, maybe inspired by people up on the stage, I can tell you I was truly, truly inspired by my peers who across so many disciplines just opened up whole new worlds to me and whose rich and diverse life trajectories made my own life richer. From leadership in the academy to industry, government, and more, with positions at CDC, FDA, Google, DoD, and otherwise, to poet and fiction writer, my Leadership Alliance cohort and all of the Leadership Alliance cohorts continue to just tremendously inspire me today. And I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to someone who was sitting down 24 years ago with me at that national symposium, who I'm sure you'll all will agree has just had tremendous transformative impact on so many lives through the Leadership Alliance cohort. She was a student back then. That is our executive director, Dr. Madeva Gee. So, keep these connections close, because that is the true power of the Alliance. If we are going to move the needle on social justice and equity, it's going to be critical to keep these relationships and pursue in synergy that goal if we're going to achieve that. So as I close, I just want to leave you with a few pearls that have been passed on to me over the years. Think big. Pursue excellence in everything that you do. No one can take that away from you. Always follow your passions in life and the path to fulfilling them. Listen to your voice. Don't be afraid to speak up for justice and dignity, for persons like my patient Kaya, for the voiceless who struggle to exist every day. And always remember our responsibilities to those sung and unsung heroes who sacrificed so much and frankly, in some cases, died for the opportunities that we have today. Let's pay it forward. So with all the turmoil that exists in our world today, I have to say, looking out here today, that I feel comforted because I know that each and every one of you is going to completely transform our world together for the better. Thank you.